Texas v. Johnson. From August 20th to August 23rd, 1984, President Ronald Reagan and Vice President George H.W. Bush attended the Republican National Convention in Dallas, Texas. The convention was a gathering of both electoral candidates from the Republican Party and their supporters for the purpose of electing those that would run for president and vice president on the Republican ticket. Outside of the convention, 100 members of a political organization called the Revolutionary Communist Youth Brigade organized protests opposing the re-election of the president and vice president, Reagan and Bush, as well as generally voicing their disapproval of the current office's policies. The organization's purpose was that of protest and vehement opposition to the restriction of free speech and the United States' pro-war foreign policy. It is important to note that the United States was still very much in the middle of the Cold War and therefore heavily opposed to any organization associated with challenging the status quo. While the organization was in the middle of its protest, Gregory Lee Johnson, a member of the group, burned an American flag. Johnson was arrested and charged with desecrating a venerated object by the state of Texas. He would later be convicted and sentenced to 1 year in jail as well as a $2,000 fine. Johnson would appeal his conviction to the Texas Court of Criminal Appeals, reversing his sentencing. The state of Texas would take Johnson's appeal to the Supreme Court. In a 5-4 decision, the Supreme Court ruled that Johnson's actions were not illegal as they fell under the classification of expressive speech. The state of Texas would argue that they were seeking to prevent breaches of the peace and to preserve the flag as a, quote, symbol of nationhood and national unity. A dissenting opinion, written by Supreme Court Justice William H. Rehnquist, stated that burning the flag is akin to, quote, fighting words, invoking the fighting words doctrine. If this were the popular opinion, this would have allowed the government to suppress and punish flag burning under the belief that it would incite a riot. In the ruling, Supreme Court Justice William J. Brennan, Jr. would respond to this doctrine, quote, it would be odd that the government may ban the expression of certain disagreeable ideas on the unsupported presumption that their very disagreeableness will provoke violence. The Supreme Court would later uphold its decision in the case of United States v. Eichmann, a very similar case that resulted in the court striking down the previously enacted Flag Protection Act of 1989, which made it illegal to burn or desecrate the flag, also repealing laws in 48 of the 50 states that issued prohibitions on flag burning. As it stands today, the act of burning a flag is classified as symbolic speech and is protected under the First Amendment.